Okay, let's talk about something really important. Your body might be trying to send you a critical health alert right now, a signal that honestly, millions of people are missing. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to ask you directly and just be honest with yourself. Have you noticed any of these things lately? More trips to the bathroom, maybe even waking you up at night. Or this crazy thirst that just doesn't go away no matter how much water you chug. How about feeling hungry again right after you've finished a meal? If any of that is ringing a bell, you need to hear this. Because here's the reality, and it's pretty shocking. A massive 57% of people with diabetes in India don't even know they have it. Think about that for a second. That's more than half. These are our friends, our family, maybe even us, walking around with a serious health issue and they're completely in the dark. But, and this is a big but, this is where we can make a huge difference because catching this early changes everything. So in this explainer, we're going to decode exactly what your body might be trying to tell you. We're going to turn that worry into understanding and that concern into a clear plan. So here's what we'll cover. We'll look at the 3 most urgent signals, then figure out why your body is screaming them. We'll touch on other signs to look for, how to actually get diagnosed, it's simpler than you think, and we'll wrap up with what you can do about it starting today. All right, let's start with the big 3. Doctors often call these the 3 Ps, and they're really the classic textbook signs that they're trained to look for right away. Okay, so the first P is polyuria. It's just a fancy medical term for peeing a lot. And I'm not talking about, having an extra coffee in the morning. I'm talking about frequent, urgent trips to the bathroom all day, and this is a big clue, having to get up multiple times in the middle of the night to go. The second P is polydipsia. This means excessive thirst. But here's the key. It's a thirst that you just can't seem to quench. You drink a huge glass of water, and a few minutes later, it feels like you haven't had a drop. It's this nagging, constant feeling of being dehydrated that water just doesn't fix. And the third P, this one is kind of weird, is polyphagia. This means excessive hunger. And it's a total paradox, right? Because you might even be eating more than usual, but you still feel starving. Your body's basically crying out for energy, even when you've just given it plenty of fuel. So, how big of a deal are these signs? Well, look at this. Any one of them on its own is worth paying attention to. But all 3 of them together, the specificity jumps to a whopping 98.42%. That's not a guess. That is your body sending an SOS. It's an extremely clear signal that you need to get checked out right away. Okay, so we've got the signals down, but why? Why is your body doing this? Well, it's not random at all. It's actually a vicious cycle where each one of these symptoms is causing the next one. I love this quote because it just nails it. A state of cellular starvation in the midst of plenty. Imagine you're at a huge buffet, food everywhere, but you can't eat a single bite. That's what's happening to your body's cells. There's tons of sugar, tons of fuel in your blood, but the cells can't get to it. They're literally starving. And here's how that plays out. It all starts with too much sugar in your blood. Your kidneys try to be the hero and work overtime to flush it out. But as the sugar leaves through your urine, it drags a ton of water with it. That's your polyuria, the frequent urination. All that water loss makes you dehydrated, which triggers intense thirst. That's polydipsia. But meanwhile, your poor cells are getting zero energy from all that sugar, so they send panic signals to your brain that you're starving. That's your polyphagia. And of course, when you eat to try and fix the hunger, you just pour more sugar into your blood, and the whole cycle just gets worse and worse. Now, while those 3 Ps are the main event, they usually bring some friends to the party. Your body often sends out other little clues that something's off. Let's cover what else you should keep an eye out for. Things like losing weight without trying, even though you're eating more, that's a huge red flag. Vision that suddenly gets blurry. Feeling tired in a way that sleep just doesn't fix. Cuts and scrapes that seem to take forever to heal, or getting infections more often. And pay attention to that last one, dark, velvety patches of skin, usually around your neck or in your armpits. That's a really specific sign of insulin resistance. Now this right here, this explains why that 57% of undiagnosed people is so tragically high. With type 1 diabetes, the symptoms hit you like a truck, hard and fast. It's impossible to ignore. But with type 2, it's a slow burn. The symptoms creep up over months or even years. They're so mild at first that it's easy to just brush them off as, oh, I'm just getting older or I'm just stressed. This is what makes type 2 so sneaky and so dangerous. Okay, I need you to listen very carefully for a second. This is non-negotiable. If you or anyone you know has these symptoms, a weird, fruity smell on their breath, confusion, vomiting, or really rapid breathing, that is an emergency. It could be a life-threatening condition called DKA. Do not wait, do not Google it, call for help immediately. All right, let's move on to the solution part, and let's take all the fear out of this next step. If you're thinking, okay, this sounds like me, what now? Getting a diagnosis is actually really straightforward. We're talking about simple tests that give you clear, black and white answers. For the most part, it comes down to two basic blood tests. The first is a fasting glucose test, which just checks your blood sugar after you haven't eaten overnight. And as you can see, the numbers are very clear. The second test is called an HbA1c. What's cool about this one is that it gives your doctor a snapshot of your average blood sugar over the last 2 to 3 months. Again, no guesswork involved. The numbers tell the story. And hey, if your symptoms are really obvious, a doctor can sometimes do a quick random blood sugar test right there in the office. If that number is over 200 and you've got the classic symptoms, that's often enough to confirm it. The main point is, this is not some big mystery. It's easy to find out for sure. So what do you do with all of this? This is the most important part. This is where we shift from a place of worry to a place of control. Here is your action plan starting right now. First things first, if this explainer has raised any red flags for you, please make an appointment to see a doctor. This week, don't wait. And second, and I really need you to hear this, getting a diagnosis is not a death sentence. It is the first step toward living a long, healthy, and controlled life. And if you catch it super early when it's just pre-diabetes, that is often completely reversible. Early action is everything. It is your superpower. And of course, I have to say this. This is all for your education and awareness. It is not a substitute for real medical advice. Please always talk to a doctor or a healthcare provider to get an actual diagnosis and a treatment plan that's right for you. And as we finish up, just think for a second. As you were listening to all this, did a face pop into your head? A friend? Your mom or dad? Your partner? Maybe even yourself? Because the person who really needs to see this might have no idea what these symptoms mean. So please share this explainer. That simple act of clicking share could be the thing that gets someone to see a doctor, catch this early, and completely change their future. You could literally save a life.